All right, so guys, I am back. Glamorous and Her, Chick 47. Yes, that's me. And I like to talk about our WrestleMania 42 weekend experience. So, you guys may look at us with a judgmental eye, but we actually did not attend night one nor night two. We attended watch parties, but I'll get to that. So, first day, first full day in Vegas was WWE World opening day. Okay. So overall, I think WWE World opening day was pretty fairly decent. It was good. I think how they improved from last year and previous years is that Superstar Row actually had bigger names than previously. Did I say that right? Previously, yeah, they had bigger names. Usually it's NXT people. And I'm not knocking them because I like them. They're on the come up, but this year definitely had some main roster people. Um, we are, as far as our personal experience, we actually mostly what we did was photo ops. So we met Obafemi, we met Sol Ruka. These are all paid photo ops. Thanks to our friend Super Saiyan Steve, who done it Austin. He helped out a lot with that. It's good to have good friends. Um, we met Jay Cargill for that's the second time. We met the MFTs. I was so happy to meet Tom Matsanga. Yes, yes, yes. So we actually met quite a few people, but with the biggest for me being over, like, oh my gosh, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. We did superstar entrance. That could have been better because I think they don't really customize what as far as like the special effects to who deserves the special effects. Meaning, if I'm going to do the Undertaker, you should give me fog. They were giving fog to people who don't usually, for wrestlers who don't usually use fog, which I thought was kind of ass backwards, but that's what they did. So my husband actually came out as the Demon Finn Balor, did a phenomenal job. They didn't give him fog. They didn't even have the proper Demon Finn Balor music. So that's another thing that needs improvement because, as you know, when he's the demon, Finn Balor, he does the heartbeat and then it kind of goes into the music after the heartbeat. They didn't do that. That was their version, their edited cut version. But I did Obafemi. I did also Jade Cargill. The crowd was kind of lackluster. I actually was being like a cheerleader for some people who were doing Oba because people were just kind of dead, and I wasn't expecting that. Usually, opening day of Superstar Road, even the fans get really into it. So that was one thing. Um, Overall, WWE World was okay. We just didn't get to do a lot of stuff because the most of our time was spent doing the paid photo ops. So that was first day. The next day, and that's on us, we didn't really do much. Um, Saturday was WrestleCon. Now, if you are a fan of interacting with wrestlers, if you are a content creator and you want to get interviews, WrestleCon is the place to be. There's a $40 entry fee, which I don't like, but it is what it is. They have to pay for the venue, and you have like the wrestlers all over. You know what I mean? If you like those kind of things, you'll be like a kid in a candy store because there had to be, I mean, hundreds of wrestlers there. It was a lot, a lot, but you won't meet WWE people there. I can tell you that much. You will not meet WWE people there, but it was cool. Had a cool experience. Got a couple interviews, which you guys will see soon. Um, the people there, the wrestlers that I interacted with that day, they were awesome. I have no complaints. Okay, what am I missing? I may be leaving out some stuff, but Saturday I'm sorry, Sunday we went to WrestleCon as well. Now, I'm trying to remember. I think Saturday is when we met the Headbangers. I have a little story about that, but they were like awesome, cool. Oh, yes, I'm forgetting something. So we went to a watch party at the Palms. Now, that was a free watch party, which usually, when there's a free watch party, usually, you wouldn't expect it to be good. You wouldn't even expect talent to show up because there are paid ones where actually there's no talent and you just go and watch the show. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it wasn't really in the budget to go to Circa this year, which is a huge screen. We decided to go to the Palms. And the Palms, much to our surprise, dozens of wrestlers there. AEW, TNA, well, Impact now, dozens of wrestlers, and you're there and you're in your bathing suit and there's wrestlers like all around you. McFoley was there handing out fries to the fans. It was just a cool, cool experience. So getting back to what I was saying, we met the headbangers that day at WrestleCon, got an interview with them, which I will be posting on a later date this week. And they were asking where the watch parties were. So I told them, I said, hey, there's going to be watch party at the Palms. There will be a watch party at Circa. And I honestly thought they'd just stay in the room and watch WrestleMania because that was also an option. But much to our surprise, when we were leaving the watch party at the Palms, we ran into the headbangers again, and we actually ended up sharing a limo ride. God, I got my head stuck in limo because I was trying to rent a limo and it didn't pan out. But we actually ended up sharing a lift with them, which was a pretty cool experience because we were staying at the same hotel, which was the Horseshoe. That was the official WrestleCon hotel. So that was a very cool experience because I grew up watching these guys, Shotgun Saturday Night, Flying Nuns, all that stuff. And it was cool to actually be in a lift with them. And they were just really cool about it. And it was an awesome experience. So that was that day. Sunday was free entry day at WrestleCon. Yes, free. So if you are on a budget, Sunday is the day to go. And I think this is every year. Sunday was also cool. Got a couple interviews. Here's my experience with an AEW tag team. Now, I'm sure you guys who watch AEW are familiar with Gates of Agony. I am not here to crap on them, but I'm here to speak the truth and how I honestly feel. I can't, during this journey of me trying to be a wrestling podcaster, influencer, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to be mean, but I also can't sugarcoat and lie. So I wanted to meet them because my friend, she hyped them up a lot. And I started to watch them and I became familiar with them because sometimes I fall asleep on AEW and I don't know every single person on the roster. My friend, Natalie, known her for years, she loves Khan. So I said, okay, when we go there, I'm going to take a picture with them. They were $50. Now, mind you, they had no one at their table. The first day we went, which was Saturday, there was no one at their table on Sunday. And this is not to crap on them, but I'm just speaking the truth. There was no one at their table. Okay. So I paid the $50, which is, I'm breaking my own rule because I usually don't like to pay that much to meet talent at WrestleCon. So I usually 20, $30. That's my new rule, by the way. Anyway, we take the picture. They were cool. I asked Khan, I said, hey, can you do like a 4-second, not 4-minute? I've asked talent for like a minute interview and all of them have obliged. I asked this guy for 4 seconds, not for an interview, but to say, hey, to my friend, you should be here. He, in a cold way, says, no, I can't do that. Now, for a second, I thought maybe he didn't want to break kayfabe because they're heels, but I'm not really buying that. I just think, pardon my language, I just think he was a dick. So, yes, some of you may say, you fans are entitled. You feel entitled. It's not about entitlement. That was his right to say no, but it was more about the principle. It wasn't for me because I could take them or leave them. Right now, I'd mostly leave them. It was for my friend because she's a big fan of his. And I just being that she couldn't make the trip, I wanted to give her something to make her happy. Sometimes that's what we do as friends. We want to make our friends happy. We want to cheer them up, especially if they're going through stuff. And I know that would have cheered her up. But he said no. He said it kind of cold. He said, no, I can't do that. So whether he was trying not to break kayfabe or whatever, there's a way I feel that you can still stay in character and do these things, especially if I'm asking for 4 seconds, but it's okay. One and done, never again. But that was my experience meeting the Gates of Agony with nobody at their table. Anyway, so that was Sunday. Sunday, we also did not attend the show, which much to our chagrin. Our hotel hosted a watch party, which I knew not much about because it was not advertised. It was not advertised. So it was like last minute. We were trying to get tickets for the show. We ran into so many roadblocks trying to get these night 2 tickets that, my husband had his face all painted as the demon Finn Balor, which he does a great job with. And I was like, we were like, you know what? Maybe it's not meant to be. So I had asked when we went to go get food from the food court, I asked, where's this watch party in the hotel? Because they're like not advertising it. The guy said it's free. It's straight down the hallway. So we watched the first hour on ESPN, which they were giving us. And then we went to the watch party. We go in there and it's not many fans. Everybody's quiet on their best behavior, watching it on these 2 screens. Okay, cool. As we're walking in, I'm talking to a guy that I had met that day via my friend Ashley. And I'm like, that's a great, in my mind, this is a great Jeff Hardy cosplay. A guy sitting 2 rows in front of us. Great Jeff Hardy cosplay. in my mind. And then I looked to the right and I said, wait a minute, that looks like Matt Hardy. The fucking Hardys was at this watch party that hardly anybody knew about. Nobody in front of them, hardly anyone in front of them in the 2 rows. And I realized it before I opened up my big mouth saying, hey, that's a great Jeff Hardy cosplay. And I was to my husband, oh my gosh, this is the Hardys. So we sat there for the few hours and we watched the show. We didn't bother them all the whole time. The Hardys, the legendary Hardys, 2 rows behind us with nobody in between them and us. Because literally nobody was sitting in those rows. They were like sitting on the floor, on the side. And we waited till, WrestleMania night 2 was over and we asked them for the picture and they obliged. Cool guys, cool dudes. I will always be a Hardy Boys fan for the entirety of my life. So that was a cool moment, even though we did not go to night 2. So we had some really cool moments WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania weekend is always a vibe. That's why I always implore people to go to WrestleMania. Even if you don't make the show, there are so many indie shows. There are so many events, meet and greets, and I want to address something. I hope I don't run out of time in this video. So the big talk of the weekend, I think I need to make a separate video for this, and I will. The big talk of the weekend was MGM Hotel and the fans interacting with wrestlers. That'll be in the next video. I got some stuff to say.